Welcome to the Mad Panda podcast, where hip hop doesn't have an expiration date. I am Nate, along here with my co-host Silas, and today we're diving deep into everything hip hop. So let's get it.
And as usual, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share so that we can continue to build. I think today we decided to talk about our favorite MCs. We've addressed this a little bit. I don't think Nate's will be any surprise to any of our longtime listeners, but yeah, we thought we would just kind of delve into that a little bit in more detail.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say favorite MCs, not necessarily just number. We'll give our number ones, but maybe
Okay.
give a few extra, But
Yeah.
So go for it.
All right.
Sure.
So as y'all clearly know, mine's is Third Coast representative. Big K.R.I.T is my favorite MC. Big K.R.I.T is definitely an artist who can cultivate the Southern sound, who has not lyrics, not only the style, but he has a whole South behind him. And I feel like if you look up what the South is, it would be Big K.R.I.T sitting right there on that mountaintop. He has his Southern drawl, but also his lyrical content is crazy. He has subject matter that can rival with the best of them. Yes, I do mean like Kendrick. And Big K.R.I.T is, K.R.I.T, for y'all who don't understand, or for those who don't know, K.R.I.T, K.R.I.T, it stands for King Remembered in Time. So a lot of K.R.I.T's music is definitely timeless, and it feels, that it's gonna last forever.
Yeah.
And so with that, K.R.I.T knows that when he does, he knows that he's not gonna get the recognition that he deserves in this moments where right now he's alive and he's not gonna catch his flowers now. But when he dies, he knows that his music is probably gonna
it'll carry on.
it will carry on.
Future generation.
Yeah, and he will be a legend in the Southern rap of hip hop. And honestly, I think he's just a legend in general. He is our Nas in the South, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
That would be the Nas of the South. So that's what Big K.R.I.T is, and that is my favorite artist, and specifically my favorite album, which I got for Christmas. Thanks to my guy Silas right here. Thanks to my co-host. I don't know if you guys can see it clearly, but this is the album Forever Is a Mighty Long Time. It's a double disc album, and it doesn't feel like a double disc album. You kind of run through it fairly quickly. It's an enjoyable album. It's electrifying. It has the most trunk knocking bangers on the front side, which is the Big K.R.I.T side, and on the other side is the Justin Scott side, which has the most introspective, looking in the mirror, finding your soul type of music. And the story that it tells on the second side is, words can't even express how I feel about this. I mean, words can't express how I feel about this album. To me, I was explaining to you, I think on the last podcast or probably in between it, where I was saying if Kendrick or J. Cole or Kanye dropped this same exact album, nothing changed on it, they will be considering this the greatest album of all time or the greatest album of the year. Or it probably would have won that Pulitzer Prize winning album that Dan won. I'm telling you, it's that good. I give it a 10 out of 10. There's no skips. It embodies the biggest of K.R.I.T. Everything feel like a song, because nowadays where you just feel like you just have a rapper and a beat. Every song, every track list on this album feels like a put together song, if that makes sense. Like I say, like there's not nothing left out. There's no you needing more. You have the meat on the bone, I guess you could say, with this album. And I say for me, when I first listened to K.R.I.T, it was back in 2010, I believe, 2010, and it was with Country Shit. That was his single, and that was the only single I heard on the radio. And at that time, he was just a rapper that, I was like, oh, okay, it's a cool little song, but I don't see it going anywhere. 5 years later, I ran into somebody else who was like, hey, you ever heard of Big K.R.I.T? I'm like, no, not really. No. Let me rewind it back. 2012. 2 years later, we run into for those, especially in that era, we listened to like Odd Future and ASAP Mob and stuff like that. And ASAP Rocky had a song called One Train, and it had a slew of rappers on it. And so they put Big Crit last on that song, and he was the one who killed it the most. And so then I was like, oh, this is better than country shit. Then a couple more years later, 2015 comes around. Somebody's like, hey, have you heard of Big Crit before? I said, yeah, he's a pretty good rapper, but I ain't heard nothing special from him. Then they put me on to his mixtape, It's Better This Way. When I heard It's Better This Way, I opened up the first track, and it blew me away with the King's Part 4. And then from that point on, I had to go back and listen to Crit Was Here, Live from the Underground, Return to Forever, and Forever and a Day. And so
back and catch up on this.
Yeah, I had to go back and catch up on some stuff.
Yeah.
And I think Cadillac was coming out that year or already came out. I'm not too sure. I got a little phasey. But ever since then, I was looking forward to it. And I'm like, yo, K.R.I.T become my favorite artist. And so then when he dropped this album, I just went nuts. So,
Well, it's a good album. I mean, I was familiar with K.R.I.T before we started doing this, but I had never dug deep into his catalog.
Yeah.
But after you pushing it on me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I gave some of the stuff, and this album is actually really pretty good. For you, those of you who listen, it's probably not necessarily my typical style, but for me, there's about 6-7 songs on that album that are really, really good.
Yes,
yeah.
indeed.
So, yeah, it's a good album. I agree with you on that. So,
yeah, but I'm just gonna cut mine off right here for right now. we can,
you could talk for hours.
Yeah, I can.
So
I can have a whole episode by myself about this. Okay. Well, we gonna do yours. What you got for?
All right, I'm gonna have to go with my favorite. I mean, there's a lot of favorite MCs of mine out there. KRS-One and all the the originals and stuff. But I think AC Alone is probably my all-time top MC.
Okay.
For those not familiar, he's from Project Blowed out of Southern California. He was a member of Freestyle Fellowship. Did this Project Blowed stuff with their compilations. He did Haiku Data with Abstract Root and Micah 9, and then they did a couple other different offshoot groups. But he's put out a bunch of albums on his own. But I first heard him on Freestyle Fellowship, so this was their second album, and the first song I heard from them was Hot Potato.
And this off the Inner City Griots.
Yeah, Inner City Griots. One of my top albums of all time. And yeah, I heard the song Hot Potato. I was just like, wow, these fools are rapping about potatoes and making it really dope. So
is that the one with Park Bench?
Yeah, Park Bench People.
Yeah, Park Bench
9 primarily.
Yeah.
Cornbread was AC Alone's kind of solo track on here, which is kind of that cool.
Okay.
Kind of it's a great song. But shortly after this album came out, and actually I'm kind of off track. I can't remember which one came out first. It was the Project Blowed one or Freestyle Fellowship. But
gotcha.
Hot Potato was definitely the first song I heard. But then there's some songs in here like Jurassic, and I Think, which is a great song by AC Alone. It's kind of a spoken word piece with just kind of a loop behind it.
Okay.
Really good. And then there's Masquerade and a couple other songs on here with Abstract Root, really good. And then he put out All Balls Don't Bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent album. One of my favorite beats of all time is a song called Makiba. It's one of the dopest beats I've ever heard to this day. So good album, a little kind of all over the place sometimes. It's not quite as cohesive, but it's just a good, lyrically it's a great album. And then just the beats are really solid. Just kind of, it's like just bunch of different stuff kind of thrown together.
Yeah.
But then he came out with Book of Human Language, which was produced entirely by a guy named Mumbles. And that's like a master.
Oh, really? So it was only one producer?
Yeah, it was all by Mumbles. And he actually produced the Makiba beat on the first one too.
Oh, okay.
So they actually use that beat a little bit on here as far as in the contents, I think it is.
Yeah.
It's like a kind of when he's talking about the album. So
on that one, on the Book of Human Language, because I know I listened to that one.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if there was when he had a spoken word track on there, I think.
Yeah, there's Jabberwocky, which is...
Yeah, Jabberwocky, yeah.
It's actually a verse from Alice in Wonderland, old book. From there. But yeah, he reads that on here. And it's kind of laid out like chapters and stuff. And it's just, just an incredible album. For West Coast Underground, I think it's probably a pinnacle album. And he's continued to this day putting out excellent albums. He's worked with pretty much everybody on the West Coast. All the like underground as far as producers, like Fat Jack, and he's done stuff with like Mystic Journeyman.
Yeah.
I'm drawing blanks on all that, but he's worked with everybody, and he's even put out kind of some jazz stuff, like where he's rapping over jazz and things like that, which is kind of linked back to the early Freestyle Fellowship stuff. But yeah, just a very intelligent, very like MC, raps about all kinds of different things, you know, some standard hip hop stuff.
Yeah.
You know, some deep introspective stuff, and just everything in between. So, yeah, just to me, he could hold his own with any of the greats, if not surpass.
Oh yeah,
most of them, I think. And if you know anything about like that Project Bloat, I mean, those guys like battling is
in their blood. Yeah.
You know, and you read some of the history and stuff of Project Bloat and the West Coast Underground, and it's like Mike and I and AC Alone were the two, like those were the cats that everybody like worshiped pretty much. And that, like, if you could hold your own against them, then you were something special.
So that was like the titans of it.
Yeah, you know, and then pretty much the whole Freestyle Fellowship, all those guys were considered that way. But Mike and I and AC Alone in particular, two different styles too, like completely different styles, but they both could do what's called chopping, which is the really fast rapping.
Yeah.
You know, so, and they could do it better than anybody probably. So
yeah, because I mean, when I first heard about fast rapping, I think the first person was definitely Twisted.
Yeah,
Twisted was like my introduction to fast rapping. But I mean, for me, Twisted did it. To me, he did it right. I like Twisted's like fast. I mean, he wasn't really rapping about like, you know,
he was just rhyming fast, basically.
Yeah. I mean, on the songs he did, like with some of the love songs, like when I think he did one with Kanye, Overnight Celebrity.
Okay.
You know, it was it worked really well. You know, just the stuff you're talking about. But yeah.
I mean, a lot of people will tell you that, like Micah 9 and them, they were basically invented that style.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or at least at the very least perfected it, and nobody said better.
That wasn't a big thing back then, right? Was like the really fast rapping.
No, they were really kind of the first ones to really do it. And then I think it got big when Bone Thug came out.
Yeah.
But and there's some, I don't know if you call it controversy, but you know, Bone Thug won't admit it, but everybody kind of from the West Coast knows that they kind of bit their style from Freestyle Fellowship.
Oh, really?
And there's the receipts to show some of that, how, because they were affiliated, they were on Ruthless, and Mike and 9 and them did stuff with like
Ruthless.
They were in the studios with them, and they actually did some writing on some of the old NWA stuff, and actually worked with them, and they were around. So there's definitely some overlap there.
So you know, like there's some there's some truth in there.
Yeah, I think you know, most, you know, it's, you know, you never know 100%. I mean, people come up with the same things. Yeah, you know, in different places at the same time, but there's definitely some connections there that that show that maybe, you know, there was probably some influence there. And you can even hear like their influence on Organized Confusion's second album, you know, which I know you're not too familiar with them, but that's Pharaoh Monch.
Pharaoh
Monch. We talked about Simon Says.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was his original group, and that I remember when I heard their second album, Stress, I was like, wait, that sounds a lot like Freestyle, you know. Yeah. And I don't know if they've ever addressed that either. And again, I think that's probably more of just a natural with the way that Pharaoh Monch rapped and stuff.
So how big was the Freestyle Fellowship back then? Were they like big enough to where it was like, it's easy for like people to bite off them, I guess you could say? Like they had copycats of them?
They were big for people kind of in the know. I mean, you didn't, I don't know if they ever had a video played on MTV or anything like that, but a lot of people in New York knew about him. I mean, they spent time in New York. K.R.I.T has talked about what a big influence they were on him. Yeah. Basically, anybody that studied hip hop at that time or was into it, you were at least familiar with them, I think. You at least heard the name if you paid any attention at all. But I think like a lot of the great artists in all genres, if you're too good, you don't quite break through. You go over the head of people sometimes. Yeah. You know, or people just sometimes want to listen to music that they can
entertain.
Yeah. They can like bob their head to or whatever. But you know, some of their stuff was, you know, more intellectual in some ways, and
Okay.
very much rooted in jazz and free jazz. So,
Yeah, so they had a really artsy feel to it.
yeah, and a lot of just, you know, yeah, like I'm trying to think of the word, like improvisation.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can't always just sit there and wait for the chorus and stuff because it's never gonna come because it's just these dudes that are just rapping their asses off and
Yeah.
you know.
And that's how it was on Inner City Griots. There was a couple songs on there.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that. It wasn't a song. It was just bars back to back,
Yeah.
back to back. Like they was just trading off.
Yeah, and they actually, I mean, I think as a group were very well like meshed with each other.
Mm-hmm.
They could flow in and out and read each other very well. I think I've read stuff. I never, unfortunately, never got to see them live, but I've read stuff about how that you could watch them and they just kind of know where each other's going.
Oh, okay.
Like even without like if it's all off the dome, they still can kind of like pick up the vibe, and they've rapped so long, because they used to start rap like I think Micah 9 and AC Alone started in junior high together and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like that. Maybe even earlier than that. Back when Micah 9 was microphone mic.
Yeah. So the chemistry was already there.
Yeah.
So they rooted in there.
Built it up for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I guess
that is wild.
Yeah, I can talk about them for a long time too. So. Other than Big Crit, who would you consider one of your favorite MCs?
Oh, that's I mean, I guess it'd be after that. It'd be like they kind of standard, like Kendrick, Cole. I'm trying to think about. It's it's just a wide range of people who just
There's been so many.
Yeah, and it's especially in this day's age. I have like so many that's locked in.
Yeah, I mean,
but they get passed up sometimes too in my mind just because like what I'm listening to.
Yeah, like it's kind of fresh in your mind, so you tend to kind of.
Yeah, because there's like artists out there like Saha the Prince who's pretty good. I mean he's excellent. It just so like I think I talked to you about it before. Like some of his bars just kind of just fly over my head, or I'm like I do not understand what that means, but okay. But some connect right on a dot with him. Let me see. I mean, I like Tyler, and not really this on the aspect of him just being an MC, because he can rap. I like Tyler's willingness to push and keep pushing the envelope.
He definitely does that.
Yeah.
Whether you like him or not, you can't deny that he does at least challenge the listener, challenges himself.
Yeah, it definitely challenges.
I do appreciate that a lot in an artist.
And he has his own sound. Nobody sounds like Tyler.
Yeah.
And I'm always with that too. And let me see. Jeez.
One I was gonna say, and this will me being a dead horse here with my De La Soul.
Oh yeah,
fanaticism. I think Bossa Noose is one of the best MCs of all time, and I think he's definitely highly underrated. You rarely ever see him on anybody's list, but I think if you really listen to him, he's really a creative MC.
Mm-hmm.
Just the stuff that they're rapping about and the way they rap about it.
Yeah.
Especially on their earlier stuff where it was even more kind of cryptic, like they were really in like this coded languages with each other, kind of inside stuff. And lots of what's the word? There's a word for it, like where you're saying something but you're not saying those exact things. You're kind of implying it. I should know this word. It's common. Like
I should know it too.
Yeah, it's
kind of these metaphors and stuff.
Yeah, like metaphors and things like that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, but where they're talking about things like potholes in my lawn is more about like reporter, like the media kind of messing with them and ignoring them, or just going after stupid things. Or you got like say no go, it's about drug use and stuff like that. And it's say so, it's so it's just kind of like they're using words that are different, that don't necessarily mean what they're talking about, but then
having it,
but you know what they're meaning.
Yeah, still having the same meaning.
Yeah, there's like this, there's a song on
not the same meaning, but yeah,
Prince Paul's Prince Among Thieves, which is, if we ever talk about concepts albums, that's has to be like one of the first ones we talk about. But
okay,
there's a song where they're like basically it's a drug dealer, somebody buying drugs from a dealer, and but it's played like a travel agent and taking flights, like I want to take a flight, which is like getting high and stuff. And so it's this whole kind of play on words where they're talking about traveling and things like that, but it's all about, getting high. So it's like a song about drug use and, so that's the type of stuff that I really think I think there's few groups that really have done it that well. Like, you know,
Yeah,
even though I think over time they kind of lessened their metaphors and things like that, they're still very good at it though.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like they had to at one point, just because they feel like some of the listeners are just not getting it.
Yeah.
And they like, okay, let me just dumb it down for you for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's definitely me sometimes. I do not understand sometimes. It's like, yo,
Yeah.
what are you saying, bro? And
I like that though. I like to be stumped.
so you like to be stumped?
Yeah, I like music that challenges me.
Okay, so I was going to ask you that question. I was like, do you like it when rappers throw metaphors at you, or like when they tell you straight?
I mean, I like both, but I mean, just in general though, I like music that makes me think a little bit, and I like to, like, when you're listening to something, and like, 10th or 20th time you listen to, you're like, oh, wait, that's what he's been saying that whole time?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
it clicks all of a sudden.
Yeah,
That's like that's awesome to me. Like when you can just keep listening to things and keep,
you find a new thing.
yeah, it's like there's movies like that where you watch them and then like the 20th time you watch it, you capture something brand new.
It's
You're like, wow, I missed that all along, and it changes. Sometimes it changes the whole movie for you.
yeah,
And there's songs like that too. You're like, you think this song is about this thing, and then one day the metaphor they said like clicks, and you're like, oh wait, that's not what they were saying at all. And I wish I could think of an example off the top of my head, but
yeah.
but no, I do. I definitely like being challenged by art and artists. I mean, that goes across all boards, like of art and everything, not just music, but yeah. But I mean, there are times though I like,
Just like straight to you.
yeah, I mean, like Too Short. Like,
Yeah,
I love Too Short and Schooly D. Like, we've talked about that
Yeah.
before, and it's like, yeah, they're not challenging me as far as thinking what they're saying, but they still
fun.
say it very well. So again, it's kind of across,
Yeah.
both sides. I
Okay.
mean, but if it's just too stupid,
Then it gets a
then
little
you're like,
redundant.
wait.
Yeah, it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
See, I mean, I feel like what you said kind of sums it up how I feel too. However, when I don't want it to be like stupid, like challenging to where I don't ever get it.
yeah,
Like, but it's kind of on the aspect of because I will listen to it, and because for me, I listen to like the same songs over and over again,
yeah,
and I will play like them to the I'll play them out, and when I am listening to something, I'm like, oh, okay, that's hard. And then for me, it's kind of like when Kendrick, that's when you get those Kendrick bars where you got to listen to it at least like 4 or 5 times to catch what he's actually saying. Or it might be you catch what he's actually saying the first time, but there has a double meaning under it, or it might be a triple meaning under it, or it's a quadruple meaning under it.
Something that I think he's good at this is where, like, you listen to him on one song and you think you've got it, and then you get halfway through the album and another song references what he said in that first song. You're like, wait a second, and it changes the meaning of the first song now because kind of. I like that too when things play over album, like over the full album.
Yeah.
So it kind of, makes it this complete listen that you have to kind of to fully understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Damn was. Damn was which is the reason why he won the Pulitzer Prize, because it was.
You mean the Pulitzer he stole from K.R.I.T?
Yeah. When he stole from K.R.I.T, doing, they snubbed my guy, okay? Nah, Kendrick deserved it. Kendrick deserved it. This K.R.I.T should have been on that list as well. But with the Damn album, he plays on the thoughts of wickedness and weakness.
Right.
And when you listen to it straight through, it's Kendrick going from wickedness to weakness by the end of the album. So you have to listen to the whole album to catch what he's saying.
Okay.
And each track is it wickedness or weakness? Is it wickedness or weakness that you're listening to, right? And then it kind of goes in order. And when you do that, I mean, when you listen to it and it goes in order, you find out that he was kind of, he started off in a bad state of mind and doing his thing, and by the end of it, he's a God-fearing man, and how he came to have weakness, which is humility and humbleness and all this type of stuff.
But that's the album that was designed to listen backwards too. Right?
Exactly, yeah. So that's
the other art.
Yeah. So when you listen to it backwards, you get this same songs. Nothing's changed, just the order. Only thing is, it's just flipped upside down. So now he's weakness going to wickedness, and all those songs have a different feel to it now, because now you feel the transition, and like he said, like on the first half, he was like, ain't nobody praying for me. And that was on the aspect of, because I think he had a song called Element, and it was like, ain't nobody praying for me. And it was kind of like like a mantra, like, you know, he's like, you know, I'm on your head, and ain't nobody praying for me, so, you know, I'm on your head, whatever, like that. But now it's kind of, when you listen to it backwards, it's kind of like saying he's like, nobody's praying for me, so I'm having to defend myself, kind of situation. It's kind of like, it just has a different feel to it, and all these songs are just,
That's really like, that's cool when an artist can do that.
yeah. And then on the last song, I guess, which is the first song from the second half, the last song originally is called Duckworth, which is his last name.
Right.
And it tells a real story about how his labor owner almost shot his pops or whatever like that, right? At a chicken spot.
Yeah.
And then when you listen to it in backwards, you can see that pretty much he did shoot his pops. And that's why Kendrick is going from weakness to wickedness, because he's growing up without a father now.
Okay.
So that's
cool. That's pretty deep.
It is deep. It's crazy. It is crazy. So yeah, I mean, Kendrick, yeah, you definitely deserve that. K.R.I.T should have been on there too, but I gotta say it. I gotta say it. Well, yeah.
Is there any other? I know we hit our time, but I think I should set it a little bit shorter so we can go a few more minutes. But is there anybody else that you would put on your favorites?
Let me see. I know there is.
I know there are some.
Yeah, it is people. As soon as we hit the end button, I'm like, man, I should have said this first.
Yeah. I mean, for like, there's the classics like KRS-One. I think KRS-One is, like, as far as just straight MC, he's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Overall MC as far as skill. I think he's the best out there.
Okay.
But like, I listen to AC Alone far more than I do him, so that's why I would pick him as my favorite. But yeah, like KRS-One. I mean, Rakim is definitely one of the best MCs of all time, but at the same time, there's only maybe 6 songs by him that I'll listen to on any regular basis.
Yeah. See, that's how I feel about Andre. Like,
yeah,
Andre is one of my favorites. However, I don't really listen to Andre on a daily basis.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess another artist I'm going to put out there, story-wise, is Scarface. And I do mean Scarface, solo Scarface, not Ghetto Boy Scarface. I mean, even as Ghetto Boys, he was still doing his thing. But I think the world
came into his own, right?
Yeah, The World Is Mine and the Diary album was phenomenal, especially with the storytelling in there. It was crazy.
Like, I have a lot of respect for Scarface. Lyrically, I can see, but I think it's his voice that I'm not a huge fan.
Oh, you're not a huge fan of?
Yeah, it just doesn't. I don't know, but there are definitely some like really dope tracks. There's a remix of The Corner by Common that features Mos Def and Scarface. Okay. And that's a cool ass remix. Like, and it still captures the whole vibe of the song. It's basically talking about the corner being like the spot, like in the inner city, you know. And it's actually got like the Last Poets on it doing the chorus.
Oh yeah,
it's the only song by Kanye that I really think is incredible. Yeah, like you know. That's a whole nother story we can talk about, but that's like my favorite by him. But it was that remix and it was a good mix with, you still have Common, you've got Kanye doing the chorus, and then you've got Mos Def, and Scarface. 3 totally different MCs.
Yeah, that's way
3 that are all in the same caliber, I would say. So, but
and he had a song with the Game, Scarface. He had a song with the Game with Kendrick, and it's called Murder, and
was it on the Games album or was it?
It was on. I believe it was on the Games album, and it's a nice kind of ominous song too. It's got this like lady kind of like humming in the background with these flutes going on, and that's why I kind of gotta say Game is definitely a lyricist as well. He don't get the credit he deserves. However, he's up there, but
he's one I've never really listened much to.
Yeah, because he has a lot of it's a lot of gang banging going on in his stuff.
Type stuff, right?
Yeah, but
he says it well.
He says it well. He places out well. Like, you can tell he studied his craft. He studied from like, you know, I almost say like the greats. Yeah, he studied from the greats. Well, he definitely can rap.
He put out an album a few years ago that had like a 20-minute long diss song about Eminem or something like that. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That album actually I did listen to. And even that song,
I think it's like Drillmatic or something like that.
Something like that. And there was, the album itself had like way too much going. Like, there was too much. Like, he probably could have toned it down to like half.
Yeah.
Had a good album. But I do remember liking that album. And actually that diss song I thought it You know, I'm not going to get in, whether he's right or wrong with what he was saying, but he did,
Yeah.
lyrically was very well said and
Yeah.
came across very well. So,
And that's what I was saying. Yeah, the game is nice. But however, yeah, facing that song, he like enhanced it. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was right on point as well. And he was just talking about like, and it wasn't talking about just murder, like going up and like shooting somebody, or killing somebody. He was talking about like,
There's more depth to it.
yeah, like especially with the game's verse, he was saying like, how like Paul McCartney got shot in the back and they couldn't do shit about that. It's murder. You know what I'm saying?
To check that out.
He's like, this is how it's just you and me. The same thing happened with Trayvon Martin and Huey P. and how they shot down Sam Cooke, 12 years of school, and it's not in one damn book. Like, he was going in on this, like,
I'm gonna have to definitely check that.
Yeah.
So, the one thing I will say about Scarface, like I said, I'm not a huge fan overall, but there are a few that really can capture the darkness on a track. Like,
Yeah.
and that's one thing his voice is good for. It has that kind of really dark kind of,
yeah.
yeah. So on the right track, there are a few that really can capture, and he is a hell of a storyteller. I think on My Mind's Playing Tricks, I mean, his is my favorite verse. I know a lot of people like Bushwick Bills, but I think
Faces.
Yeah, I think Faces is the best. That one gives me like shivers a little bit, like almost. And horror movies don't scare me, but that verse just like kind of triggers, like you feel like what he's talking about, like like face in the window and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's what that's what the MC can do for you, man. Like, they can really put you in that realm where you can actually step into what they're saying and feel the same emotions they're feeling.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it for me.
All right, it's time for our top 5. I'll pick this time, I think. Let's see. All right. Okay. Top 5 beats.
Top 5 beats?
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing to clarify, are we doing top 5 as a pair or individual?
We can do top 5 as a pair, because I feel like coming off the head with these are going to be incredibly hard.
I'm going to go with, I already said Makiba from AC Alone. I said that earlier.
Okay, Makiba.
Yeah, so that's definitely one of my favorite beats of all time. But the next one I was going to go with is Shook Ones Part 2 by Mobb Deep.
Shook Ones Part 2?
That might be my favorite beat of all time.
Okay.
So I think...
Classic.
There was a magazine recently, I forget which one it was, a rap magazine, I don't know. But they nominated or voted that as the greatest beat of all time.
Really?
And I couldn't argue with them on it. I mean, there's a lot of great beats out there, but it's simple, but it's just so like it's a perfect beat. Like, yeah.
I also, for me, I like Nas's Made You Look beat. I don't know if you heard that.
I know I've heard it, but I'd have to go back.
Yeah. I mean, of course, we always say the
New York State. Yeah, we had one.
But I don't want to add that one. I want to do Made You Look by Nas. That one was a nice one right there. I like that.
There's another one. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's by Showbiz and AG. It's the Night Flight remix by Premier.
Okay.
But I can't think of the name of the song. Oh my God. I don't know. I can't think of the name of the song off the top of my head, but look up Showbiz and AG with it's Nighttime or Night Flight Premier remix.
Okay.
But that beat is really
pretty good.
Yeah.
Let me see. You know what? I'm gonna have to say this right here, and I'm pretty sure you never heard it, but it's Sticky Fingers. It's called Man Up.
Onyx Sticky Fingers?
Yeah, okay. Sticky Fingers, and it's called Man Up, and it just has this. You ready to fight when you hear this? So that's just what it is. He's just ready to fight. I want to add that one on there.
Another beat I would put in that kind of would amp you up a little bit is Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down by Brand Nubian.
Oh yeah,
that's one of the coolest beats of all time too. The horn, the way they chop the horn, it's so it shouldn't work, but it works perfectly.
It works perfectly.
Yeah, and then that beat just that one makes me want to throw down a little bit too.
Well, speaking of throwing down again, let's see. Was it MOP, Annie Up?
Yeah.
That one right there. Yeah, that beat right there, that make you want to get wild as well.
I wasn't a huge fan of MOP or Onyx vocally.
Yeah.
But pretty much every beat that they had was good, or good if not great.
Yeah, I feel like you just had all of the Affinity Stones in, and you just...
Yeah, they were, I mean, they were definitely ones would get you all amped up and stuff.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about some chill beats, but
I would go with 93 to Infinity by Souls of Mischief.
Okay.
And that's a good chill West Coast style.
Yeah.
West Coast
You know what?
Here.
When I hear that beat, I don't think of West Coast. I think it's the East Coast. Like
It does kind of, yeah.
especially out Florida.
I
I
guess,
thought that was
yeah.
like that for the long time.
Because it does kind of have that jazzy East Coast production, but I think of
Yeah.
it as a classic West Coast song because Souls of Mischief.
Yeah,
So,
they're
yeah, and it has it's a little more mellow, like has
Yeah.
mellower, but yeah, but no, I could see that.
which
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, they did not a remix, but they rapped over the same beat. I think like
Was it the live band?
yeah, live
Yeah,
the Red Bulls I don't know, performance or something like that.
Okay.
And it was the same. It's the same song, but they had new lyrics to it.
Okay.
So yeah, the whole group.
I don't know if it's the same because there's this band out of England. It's like a 3-letter, like ON or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But they'll work with different artists and have them. They'll do live, and they did one with them.
Okay.
But I don't know if it was the same or not. But
yeah, I think this one was sponsored by Red Bull.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to, you can check that out. If I had to put another one on there, I guess as beats, chill wise, I'm gonna have to go from this album. Favorite my long time is Aux Chord.
That's a good. I like.
Yeah, you know that beat is magical. Is what I can say. So yeah.
I feel like we should have one more. I'm trying to think something from the West Coast that I would put on there.
Well, West Coast wise is a group called Volume 10, Pistol Grip Pump.
That's one guy, Volume 10.
Volume 10.
He's part of Project Blue.
Oh, he's part of Project Blue? Wow, really? I did not know that.
Yep.
I did not know that.
Pistol Grip Pump on my lap at all times.
Yes. Oh,
it's in it. It's a slow gangster song almost, but
yeah,
it's like kind of an anti-cop song or that type of song.
Oh yeah.
Little side note: Rage Against the Machine has a covers album, and that was one of the tracks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just a grip pump on my lap.
Yeah. That beat is really because it's got that kind of funk. It's got like a George Clinton sample or something in it. I think
it's just disgustingly good. Oh my goodness.
That actually is a really good song. So yeah,
I don't know if that's what you was going for, but that was kind of.
I'm glad you brought that one up.
Yeah,
I love that song. Fortunately, there's not a lot from him. I know he was putting something out recently in the last couple of years, but I don't know if I've ever actually heard it. But I think he went through had some issues for a while. But
okay.
But yeah, that song was good. There's an Abstract Rude song or Abstract Tribe Unique song, and they said, why is that fool so crazy? And he says, it's because of the fools I kick it with, like Volume 10 or something. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I'm not doing it justice, but yeah, that's a good one. But I was just trying to think of what's a good classic West Coast that you would. I mean, Regulator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that.
But I mean, that was a whole pretty much sample though, right? From the original.
Yeah, it was. Who was it?
I don't know who the artist.
I know exactly who it is. I think I have the original record laying around here somewhere. I can't. Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a straight loop pretty much, but it was still like that.
Staying G-Funk.
Yeah, because then it had what was it? Nate Dogg was singing the hook on it and stuff like that. So I think when you take the loop and then you add Nate Dogg on it, that was solid.
Yeah. Would you consider any of the G-Funk era beats out of to be like the West Coast? I know you say you're not really too big on those, but
trying to think of the Dre one that I like. Did I really love
the G thing?
That's a good beat, but there's one. It's the one that samples Parliament Funkadelic, where the Chariot.
Oh yeah, Let Me Ride.
Yeah, Let Me Ride. Yeah,
Let Me Ride.
Let Me Ride. I think that beat right there. That's probably my favorite Dre track and beat right there.
Okay.
I love that beat and the way they took that P-Funk sample.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, for me, that whole Dre era of the Death Row era is like legendary to me.
Yeah.
I like Still Dre. Not Still Dre.
Dre Day.
Dre Day. With the Easy disc, some of the other stuff he did with Pac and stuff like California Love.
Yeah.
Of course, the stuff with he did with Snoop Dogg with Nothing But a G Thing and Deep Cover and all that stuff. Like Dre was just killing it back to back in that era. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I think Deep Cover is probably my second favorite.
Oh yeah,
Dre beat. Okay. First would be Let Me Ride.
Okay.
But
yeah, I'll say Let Me Ride it probably topples over.
As far as Snoop's concerned, Deep Cover is my favorite Snoop song.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I'd probably say Gin and Juice is mine.
That's a good close Exactly. But something when I just remember, I think we talked about this one time when we heard, back then I heard Deep Cover.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like Snoop Dogg is a shit. Like he's like,
yeah.
I think I said it even before. He was like, we thought of him as kind of like our West Coast Nas.
Yeah, you did. You did say that.
And then when Doggy Style came out, it was like, oh, okay, you're not quite at that level,
Yeah,
but
he didn't live up
it
to it.
just wasn't quite, but
It was like talent's there. It just,
Yeah.
he didn't.
and I think it was more because the direct, Deep Cover still has kind of, it's a West Coast song, but it has still kind of an East Coast vibe to it, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that heavier
That
kind of
darkness and
yeah, like more of a boom bap style kind of. And then Doggy Style was all G-Funk, so it was just kind of like a different sound than what I wanted from him. So
yeah,
still a good album though. So
great, incredible.
yeah. So
I think that's all for me.
all right, I think we're good. I think we've gone way over this.
Yeah,
but
the last two we done blew out the water. So
yeah, I like talking about beats though. So
yeah, they're amazing.
But yeah, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, just we'd appreciate if you like and share and subscribe and help get the word out.
All right, guys. See you next week.
Thank you.